The land of retail work isn't the most glamorous of employment opportunities, especially right here in New York City. The pay isn't much, benefits are average at best, and schedules are very erratic. But unfortunately, retailers in the Bronx have it the worst. A new study's been released that states Bronxites in retail make the least per hour out of all of the boroughs. And one organization, the Retail Action Project, is striving to end this and improve the retail job market, not only for Bronxites, but for all New Yorkers. Project leader, board member, Eno Awotoye, did I pronounce it right?
Yes.
All righty, he joins us now here to speak on the experience, and thank you for having us. That was the first hurdle to cross, because first we make sure we got the name pronounced right. Thank you very much. Second of all, the issue of just looking at the Bronx. First of all, the Bronx leads in the unemployment rate as it is of all the 5 boroughs in the borough. I mean, in the city. Second of all, now to find out that retail-wise, we're still doing bad.
Very, very bad. The studies that we did shows that retail workers in the Bronx earn $2 less.
$2 less?
$2 less than retail workers in, say, Manhattan or other areas. $2.
$2. Is there any specific understanding as to why we're earning less?
It's hard to say. I think it's just the retailers taking advantage of the fact that it's in the suburbs. And so they can say, well, because you don't have to go to Manhattan and for whatever other reasons. And the retail workers themselves are probably not pushing for it, you know.
So there was a recent study that was done. It was called Discounted Jobs, How Retailers Sell Workers Short. And in this report, there are several actual companies that have been listed as people who actually sell workers short. Now, in the report, according to you, JCPenney, Abercrombie & Fitch, Spirit, Old Navy, Forever 21, Banana Republic, Target, Club Monaco, Tommy Hilfiger, and Victoria's Secret?
And much more. There are those of them that are not there that, for instance, in the Bronx, we have national chains like your VIMs and so on, whose workers are still earning that same kind of range. $8 an hour, no benefits at all, hardly have hours. The good thing about the Bronx workers is that they tend to have more hours than, say, the workers in the Manhattan. Say 34 hours is an average for the workers in the Bronx, whereas in Manhattan it's a bit less. You know, you have the hours are much less there, but they have more per hour. And even if you say 34 hours in the Bronx and $8 an hour, you're still earning about maybe $270 to $80. Still cannot live on it. Right. You know.
And it kind of equals out anyway, because if you're saying the people in the Bronx are making less, but they're working more hours, then that's the equivalent of those people who may be in the city who are working less hours, but actually making more. So it actually all evens out.
And not really, because when you look at it in the Bronx, the workers hardly have any raises. So you find out that the median income for someone working, or maybe not just the median, the highest that someone gets in the Bronx is $13.50, whereas in Manhattan it's about $20. So there are raises that they get outside of the Bronx where the people in the Bronx don't get. People in the Bronx work longer. Their tenure in the Bronx is about five years average, whereas in Manhattan it's about 2 years. But for 6 months, they'll get more money. They'll get raises. They'll get promotions that we can't get here. There's also issues around discrimination, because we find out also in the report that colored people of color, workers of color, get much less. They hardly get the jobs. When they get the jobs, they hardly get the raises. It's a large number. In the Bronx, about 71% of Latinos earn less than $10. That is shocking, just shocking.
Now that you have the statistics, what happens now?
We have to push for it. We have to let it be known. So I'm happy I'm here, share it with everyone. We were at the press conference yesterday where we shared it also with the press. And hopefully that we get the retailers to realize that we know what is going on, that we understand, we see the profits that they record from time to time every year. It's just coming to the end of the season now. They are going to declare how much profit they made. And we want to see it trickle down to the workers, the frontliners, the people who work for them, who make all this money. We want to see it trickle down to them. We want it to improve in the Bronx and bring it up to the same level that is in Manhattan, for instance. You have companies where they have their stores in Manhattan where the workers earn more than the same stores in the Bronx. Why is that? So we have to bring that awareness to everyone. We have to let the employees know that there's no need to be afraid. If you see these things happening, you need to speak out. You need to come together. And together you can change that system.
I want to talk about some other numbers that you have here. You say only 29% of New York City retail workers receive health insurance from their jobs. Less than 25% of New York City retail workers have ever used a paid sick day, and women make $1.13 per hour less than men in New York City retail jobs.
Okay, so that statistic for the Bronx, for instance, is only 11%. So it's 29% in the city because we surveyed workers all around. But in the Bronx, only 11% get any kind of benefits.
11%?
11%. And the attorney, David Lesh, he talked about FMLA, which is, you know, needed. Everyone, if you get sick, if you have a family member that needs help, you can help. In this case, you cannot do anything because, first of all, the jobs that the retailers are offering are part-time jobs. So if you are working, say, maybe 12 hours a week, in a year, you remember that number, 1250,
right,
in order for you to get the benefit? In a year, you only get about 600. So you can't even benefit from the federal government.
Family Medical Leave Act, right.
Exactly. So that's how they lose out on the benefits. And this is what the employers are doing, trying to reduce the hours so that they don't get any benefits. The only difference is that in the Bronx, they are working that many hours, but they are just not getting the benefits. So we have to get these workers coming together, unionizing if possible, working with them, and we have resources that we can show to them because, as you know, I am also a member of Local 1S, which is a part of the RWDSU, the Retail Workers Union. So once we find out that these things are going on like this, and we're going to talk to those workers, get them, show them to the resources that they need to come together and get a collective bargaining agreement from their employers. That way, for instance, where I work, if I get my schedule on Monday for the next week, for the coming week, it cannot be changed. That is the agreement, that's the contract, because it's a union environment. If I am asked to work 12 hours a week, it cannot go less than that. There's no next week, or we'll see, we'll call you. No. That is the agreement, and that's a lot of what the workers in these areas that are not unionized are facing. So they say, you are a part-time worker, work 17.5 hours. So this week you work 34 hours. Next week they say, oh, we'll call you. So what do you tell your child? I'm sorry, this week I didn't get any hours, so there's no money.
It's kind of ironic that we come out of the Martin Luther King holiday knowing that on the last day that Dr. King was dying, he was assassinated. I should say he was out there working for poor people and sanitation, and actually helping the poor sanitation workers and rights for wages. Where do you see this going as far as a movement? Because I understand that, you know, you've had your press conference yesterday and there was some information that was given out. Where do you see this going in the future? Okay, so I would backtrack a little bit. We've done a lot of things. For instance, we had workers in Soho that were going through the same kind of problems. Yesterday, one of the members who worked in this store talked. And he said they were so scared. They couldn't come out and share what was going on in the store. But by the retail action getting in, providing the education they needed. So part of our customer service training has workers' rights. So we expose you to what the legal, what the policies are legally, and what to do if you find that these things are a concern, you know, and then that way we can put together a group so that we can get back, if there are lost wages, we can get them back, and we can get collective bargaining, we can turn it into a union. And we've done that in Soho. That's what we're going to do here. What do you say to those workers who might be watching right now, say, I recognize there is this problem that's out there, I've got a problem on my job, but I am really scared because, you know, this is all I got. And you already showed me the numbers are bad, and I already know the numbers are bad. If I lose my job, this is all I have. But they're scared to really come out and speak about the whole issue. What do you tell them?
I'll say, if you continue to be scared, it's not going to change. If you call us, go to our website, go to our Facebook and say, I want to be connected. I want to take an active part in making this industry change. We have trainings. We have resources that will help them come together. We have resources that will help them get collective bargaining in their I mean, we have, like I said, I am a member of 1S, so I know about the RWDSU. We'll point you to where you can go, and there are people who are ready to come talk to you, to help you pull together your resources so that you can make that change in wherever you work. And you shouldn't be afraid of being targeted or anything like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us, and we'll continue to give you the information. You saw the information at the bottom of your screen. We ask that if you're a retail worker and you want to share more information or find out more information, be sure that you go to that information that we had at the bottom of the screen to help you get plugged in. Once again, thank you for joining us and enlightening us with this very interesting information.
Thank you very much.
All right.